welcome back to my channel. So we're basically going to be talking about TikTok. So first and foremost, if you know literally anything about me, I love TikTok. I'm pro TikTok. I'll say that. I think that TikTok has a lot of cons as a platform, but I still think that it's a relatively good platform. I think that TikTok really takes all of the good aspects of Vine and just kind of elevates it. I think that there's so many really good editing kind of techniques and little things on there that help younger minds who are using the app get into that kind of stuff and get into that kind of social media influencer stuff, and even just making good content, like making funny content or stuff that you want your peers or your friends to see and watch too. And I think that TikTok is so funny. Like, I find the funniest TikToks on there, like just the funniest videos, stuff that's so reminiscent of Vine and the good parts of Vine. So what I'm here to talk about today is millennials and their relationship with TikTok. So I've noticed something from being on YouTube for a while and from just watching other YouTubers and listening to their takes on TikTok and stuff. And I've come to the conclusion that a lot of people who are in their mid to late 20s and early 30s really kind of don't like TikTok, or at least really like to make fun of it and discredit it. And like, look, TikTok is cringy. Like, I'll give you that one. Like, TikTok is pretty cringy, but I also think that there's a lot of good in TikTok, and there's a lot of organic stuff in there that a lot of teens will benefit from. I still think that it's a positive platform, and it's replacing Vine in a lot of ways in the kind of cultural void that was left after Vine, you know, died. I don't know how else to describe it. I've noticed that a lot of people who are in that kind of age range seem to make fun of TikTok a lot, and also, you know, they'll do like reaction videos and stuff, and just they don't seem to get it. There seems to be this sort of disconnect between making fun of it and kind of understanding the humor behind it. Like, TikTok has such a unique sense of humor to it. It's such a dark sense of humor, but I feel like it so perfectly encapsulates the humor that is Gen Z humor. And I feel like a lot of people who are millennials who are watching TikTok and don't really seem to get it, I think a lot of that just comes from the difference in generation. The humor is different, you know, and I think TikTok is very specifically marketed towards teenagers. It's marketed towards that Gen Z audience. That is who it's for. That's its bread and butter. And so I think it's kind of stupid for a bunch of people who are in their mid to late 20s, early 30s to sit down and watch TikToks and make fun of it and be like, oh, this is so stupid, this is so cringy. Like, dude, it's not made for you. It's not, your perspective on it is going to be different than most teenagers who are watching it, because it's made for teenagers. It's not made for a full-grown adult to be watching and really analyzing it and stuff. It's videos made by teenagers for teenagers. And I just think it's so gross that so many, you know, like grown adults who have platforms throw it under the bus and just, you know, make fun of TikTok creators and just, you know, make fun of TikToks in general, when it's not hurting anybody. It's this platform that was cultivated by teenagers who wanted, I think, a Vine-like atmosphere, but slightly different. I think that TikTok is an elevated Vine. There's so many things on TikTok that you can do that you couldn't do on Vine. Like, I think the 6-second aspect to Vine was really cool, and it inspired a lot of ingenuity and a lot of creativity, because you only had such a limited time to to make your content and to make your jokes. And I think, you know, everybody knows that like when you cut off a joke or when there's somebody yelling and it cuts off, it's really funny. But I think that TikTok, with its minute-long videos, there's so much more you can do with it. There's an infinite amount more of things that you can do on TikTok that wouldn't be possible with Vine. And specifically, I want to talk about the music aspect of TikTok that is so intertwined with it and its success, I think. You know, I love the music aspect of it. I have found so many songs that I listen to on a daily basis from TikTok, and just from people on TikTok sharing different audios and songs. And also, there's people whose careers have been catapulted because of TikTok and because of their audio being used. To like, Doja Cat is a really good example, or even like Lil Nas X, or even like Nicki Minaj and other artists who are in the mainstream, but they're kind of older songs and some of their music in their catalog is being used for videos, and it kind of brings it back to the spotlight and brings that artist back to the spotlight. Or even those specific songs, like, oh my gosh, like, hey, I totally forgot that that song existed, but it's a bop. And I just think that TikTok is such a cultural moment. It's so timely. I think that we should be talking about the benefits of TikTok, or even just like what it has inspired in teenagers versus tearing it down or tearing the creators on the platform down. Like, it's just such a waste of time. And I just genuinely think that millennials don't get it. Like, it's just not clicking for them. And that's okay. Like, you can not get TikTok. It's all right. It's not, again, it's not for you. TikTok is for teenagers, you know, and I wasn't a huge fan of it when it was Musical.ly, because it was mostly used by like little kids, and there was a lot of stuff going on when it was Musical.ly, but I think ever since it changed to TikTok, it's been better, so much better. And like, look, TikTok has so much more room to grow, and there's so many things that I can think of that TikTok needs to do better with. Like, it needs to do better with its monitoring of how young the people on the platform are who use it. You know, there needs to be more things in place for like child pedophiles and all that kind of stuff. But I don't think that TikTok is bad. I think that it's just another platform that teenagers get to be creative on in this day and age, and I'm so supportive of it. I've just seen so many great things, like whether it be really great videos that are edited super well and are so ingenious in the thoughts of what they're doing and the like tricks that they're doing. And I'm seeing so many younger people who maybe never would have been interested in editing or just videography casually learning stuff about it and learning like little tips and tricks that are really cool. Like, I mean, how awesome is it that we have these people who are going to become like amateur photographers, amateur videographers, and we have TikTok to thank for that. I think it's just so irresponsible to just throw kind of TikTok away as a platform. Like, just be like, oh, it's just a bunch of dumb teenagers, it's so cringy, when obviously it's a platform that people are paying attention to, and people are having a really good time on it. You know, they're doing a lot of really fun things. I think that there's also a disconnect in generations where a lot of like millennials and older millennials, like, have you completely forgotten the stuff that you did when you were a teenager? The dumb dances that you did, the dumb challenges that you guys did. I'm just really sick of seeing, and it's mostly men, to be honest. It's mostly guys who are in their late 20s and 30s making fun of teenagers on TikTok, and it just really irks me. It just feels so disgusting. Like, you're making fun of these teenagers who are just being teenagers. They're just doing what teenagers do. You know, they're being dumb and cringy and making funny videos for their friends and posting it and stuff. And who cares if some people get famous from it or are influencers? Like, you know, I've seen so many people being like, oh, these TikTok people are doing the bare minimum. You know, they're just doing these silly dances and then they're getting like millions of followers. Like, that's still hard. Like, do you know how hard it is to be a teenager and to be considered likable and to cultivate this following just based on that? Like, that's very difficult. Not everybody is capable of that. Like, you could go and post a video on TikTok every day that you think is good quality and you might not get a following. So I don't like people discrediting that and saying like, oh my gosh, it's so stupid easy to get famous on TikTok, because it's not. It literally is not. There's still work that gets put into it. And I just hate seeing a bunch of these, you know, like 20-something guys making fun of these teenagers doing TikTok dances, because first of all, the TikTok dances are super impressive and I'll defend them. Like, yeah, some of them are kind of simple and easy and maybe a little cringy, but like, they're for kids. They're for teenagers to do. I can't think of the amount of like dance challenges and stupid stuff that like I did in middle school, like, you know, like the Dougie and like Renegade and yeah, but like all those kind of things. Like, come on now. Like, don't be a hypocrite. Don't act like that stuff wasn't going on when you were a teenager. And I doubt you thought very highly of the people who were making fun of all that stuff at that time either. I just think it's so funny because we're so like, okay, boomer, you know, but these millennials sometimes are acting like boomers when it comes to TikTok. And it's really annoying because you should be embracing it. You should be like, oh wow, these teens are doing this really cool thing. This is so creative, you know. And even if you personally don't really like it or don't really understand it, you don't need to go and put it down, because that's so useless. That's such a waste of time and resources and energy. But yeah, I just, you know, in defense of TikTok, I'm defensive of it because I just hate to see people put it down for such dumb reasons. I really like TikTok and I do think it's a good platform. Do I think that it has things that it needs to improve on? Absolutely. I am not saying that it's perfect and can't do better. Absolutely not. But what I'm saying is, I think that people give TikTok a lot of grief when it isn't deserving of it. I think it's like any other platform that's popular with teenagers. And I just think it's so funny that most of the people who are putting it down are millennials who claim to not be about that, you know, who claim to be like, oh, we're accepting and, you know, we understand it and stuff. And it's like, well, clearly you don't. Clearly you don't get it. But yeah, that's basically all that I wanted to say. If you want to send me your favorite TikToks, go for it. I'm always down to see some more TikToks. I will actually link my TikTok down below. I think I have one TikTok on there. But I think Vine, you know, really enacts this sort of nostalgia and this love in people. You know, people talk about Vine, you know, oh gosh, I miss it so much and it was such a great platform. And yes, it was. I'll sit and watch Vine compilations all night, all day. But you have to recognize that TikTok is basically the same. You just don't like it because you've probably grown out of that content. And that's okay. That's perfectly okay. But don't put people down just because you've grown out of that content and you can't recognize that it's not for you anymore. And that's why you don't understand it. But yeah, that's basically all I had to say. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you leave a like, you subscribe, all of that fun stuff. I'll see you on the next one.